causes you to feel anxious or distressed. Seek information only from trusted sources and take practical steps to prepare your plans and protect yourself and loved ones. Need help and support? Please contact us at the hotline 311 Psychosocial Support at 722-6575 or 518-4157. Brought to you by PAHO, the OACS Commission, and UNICEF.
Good evening, St. Lucia, and welcome to Saturday night sports night, April 10th, 2021. I'm your presenter, Anthony de Beauville. But I'm not quite sure whether I should be doing sports tonight or whether I should be keeping persons abreast in what's happening in our neighboring islands, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But let's keep them in our prayers. I simply hope each and every one of you had a wonderful week despite the many challenges that you faced. I have a few sporting items to go through, and then I will be touching base with Dr. Vonatella Stories, and of course I have a special guest, mother and daughter. I will be speaking to them. So, call a friend, tell a friend. UTV 124, Saturday Sports Night. Facebook, UTV 124. Telephone numbers, if you want to call in, 572-7588 or 484-7588. But this evening, I really want to start off with a piece of news coming out of Barbados. And persons who are aware and who know that name will say, well done. And she's no stranger to St. Lucia. She's been here. I've met her a few times, rolling back the days of my mountain running. But she was here, this month will have been 5 years, April, when St. Lucia last hosted the under 16 netball Jean Pierre Youth Tournament. And I'm speaking no other than Kathy Happerhall. She has been named as a recipient of the Barbados Olympic Association Woman in Sport Icon of the Year Award 2021. Happerhall, described by the BOA as a regionally renowned sports administrator, received the award at a virtual ceremony. Tributes to Happerhall were paid by several sports figures in Barbados, including BOA President Sandra Osborne. Osborne said Harper does not just represent the sports in person, but is also an emblem for positive change, impacting the lives of persons in lasting positive ways, not only as a mother, but as a mother figure, a teacher, an athlete, and a sports administrator of multiple sports. Harper, the second recipient of an award first handed out by BOA last year, said she was honored to have won the prize. I consider this an honor and privilege, and I will treasure it. While today's ceremony will remain for me a never to be forgotten experience. And I have a few pics of Harper where she collected her award. No, that's, well, this here, okay, let's go again. This here is when she was in St. Lucia in 2016, and she was here presenting the officials of the netball tournament, the umpires, with some token of appreciation. That's you. Our very own Wayne Benty, with Kathy Apple. And of course, another St. Lucian receiving her award. And next one is where she received the award from the Barbados Olympic Association. I mean, just recently we celebrated Women's International Day. And I had a number of women in sports administration and women who have done so much. And I simply hope that they can take a page or chapter of Kathy Apple book when it comes to women in sports administration. I move on to Dominica. We keep it regional this evening. Dominica. And of course, Dominican high jumper Brendan Williams has been appointed as the new chairman of Commonwealth Games Federation Athletic Advisory Commission. Williams, the first athlete to lead the Athletes Commission at an international sports federation, assumes the role immediately and is set to serve as chair until the conclusion of the 2023 CGF General Assembly. The 43-year-old replaced former Scotland hockey player Rona Tuft, the first chair of ACC, who had sought re-election but was deemed ineligible as she has not competed at either of the past two Commonwealth Games in Glasgow and Gold Coast in Australia. Williams competed for Dominica at the 2010 Olympics Commonwealth Games in New Delhi, and in Glasgow 4 years later has been the Caribbean representative on the AAC since its formation in 2018. He is also chair of the Dominican Athletic Commission, a board member of the Dominica Olympic Committee, and serves on the Athletic Commission of the Caribbean Association of National Olympic Committees. And here we have Brendan in action, representing Dominica. And that's him here, Brendan Williams. We keep it live and we keep it with cricket. We go cricket this time, and we're talking about West Indies and Sri Lanka. But the news is, Phil Simmons, the West Indies head coach, said, he has urged authorities in the Caribbean to prepare more results-oriented pitches following the nil-all draw in the recent two-test series against Sri Lanka. Both matches finished in a stalemate on flat wickets at the Vivian Richards Cricket Stadium in Antigua. Simmons said it was important to provide more competitive pitches in the region in order to lift the profile of test match cricket. I think we from a country standpoint need to get better wickets where we can have test matches that will last, create a result. Even if we lost, he said, after it has gone into the 5th day, you will still think that we've done well to get the 5th day and we win a chance of winning the test match. So I think it's important for us to prepare wickets for our bowlers. It's like you have a horse, you got to put a donkey in the horse, you know. But what is this? You have Phil Simmons, West Indies coach, and the 4-prong pace attack. Let's hold that here. Azari Joseph, Kima Roach, Jason Holder, and of course, Chanel Gabriel. The 4-prong attack of West Indies that played the two test matches against Sri Lanka. We look at international athletic. And of course, I'm talking about Juan Antonio Samaranch. And I'm not referring to the father, I'm referring to the son. Okay? Father and son. The son has the father's name. But there's no junior at it, right? Juan Antonio Samaranch has refused to rule out a run for the International Olympic Committee presidency when Thomas Bach vacates the position in 2025. Samaranch, the son of the 7th IOC president of the same name, suggested in an interview that he was weighing in on the option. the 61-year-old former vice president said he would first target regaining his place on the IOC executive board before considering his future plans, claiming he wanted to do things one at a time. Samaras departed the IOC executive board in 2020 after serving a maximum 2 consecutive 4-year terms. The Spanish official can return to the body after a 2-year cooling off period, and is set to attempt to be re-elected back onto the executive board once that expires. Samaras said, right now, the question would be whether I would be able to return to the executive board within a reasonable period of time. And that is one Jose Samaras. Plans of getting back or running for the presidency of the International Olympic Committee. I wish him well in 2025. We move on, and how to put in that piece so persons can understand how FIFA operates. FIFA suspends Pakistan and Chad Football Federation over interference claims. Interference claims. FIFA has said it has suspended the Pakistan Football Federation and Chadian Football Association with immediate effect due to claims of outside interference. FIFA, in a statement, that its decision to suspend PFF was because of hostile takeover by a third party, which amounted to a violation of statutes. And according to Pakistan national team captain, the decision will destroy football in the country. The FTFA has meanwhile been suspended because of government interference. Meanwhile, the African nation of Chad has also been handed an indefinite suspension by FIFA. In March, the Chadian Minister of Youth and Sport dissolved the FTFA. This led to the Confederation of African Football disqualifying the nation from the final 2 rounds of qualifying for the African Cup of Nations. FIFA said it has suspended the FCFA because of a Chadian government's decision to withdraw the powers delegated to the FTFA and seize control of the federation premises. The suspension will be lifted once the relevant government decisions have been repealed, and the FTFA and its management, led by President Maktar Mohammed Hamid, have confirmed to FIFA that the FTFA premises are again under its control. Only federations recognized by FIFA are permitted to send teams to international events. I'm going to repeat that. Only federations recognized by FIFA are permitted to send teams to international events. Suspended nations, listen closely, suspended nations are no longer eligible to receive funds from the world governing body, FIFA. And with that, we await word from FIFA as to what transpired 2 weeks ago in St. Lucia. I say no more. We have a pic of the FIFA building. That's FIFA there. They're not playing. They're certainly not playing, and they're serious. They feed you, and if you refuse to sing in line with their ruling, they take care of you. I will take a break here, but when I come back, I will be speaking to Dr. Vernita de los Flores, and of course, you will see my guest to my right. I'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jim Joseph, president of the Beausejour Community Group. We believe St. Lucia can win the war against the coronavirus, and here's how. Every community in St. Lucia must mobilize, coordinate, monitor and support residents the way we would before, during and after a natural disaster. Identify volunteers in your community, assign them roles and deploy them. Ensure your elderly and vulnerable understand all protocols. Help relatives, shield them from unnecessary contact with others. Identify those recently unemployed and vulnerable neighbors living alone. Put systems in place to filter updates from official sources throughout your community. Promote the hotline number 311. If it takes a village to raise a child, then all of us can come together to defend the village against the coronavirus. Let's do it.
Together let us win this war. Said we shall be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
The future of outward performance begins today.
Available at Red Dot in Grosile and Susie's Varieties in Bois de Wange and Vieux Fort.
Thanks for tuning in to your favorite content creator, UTV. To find out more, follow us on our social media platforms: YouTube UTV124, Facebook UTV124, Instagram UTV124, Twitch UTV124, TikTok UTV_124, and Flow TV channel 124. Remember, UTV, TV for you. UTV.
I know you
got it. If you identify with the most pulsating, the most riveting, the most eye-capturing, UTV. To advertise with UTV, dial 484-7588 or 572-7588. For some of the most competitive rates, amazing programming, and bang for your buck. The most popular streaming channel, UTV124 on Facebook. Get it now! Check us out on Instagram at UTV124. Email us utvslu@gmail.com. UTV. It's not just for me. It's definitely TV for you.
You just a cock it up, back it up, fling it up on me. So heaven in your waistline when you make it roll. Tough gal a road tell me say them a bit too, but none of them no have it like you. When it come to whining skill, gal you know you are the baddest. Them a dancehall queen, but you a dancehall goddess. Then gal a road really need little practice, but everything I need, girl you have it. I use a professional bump and roller, qualified waistline controller. You a bubbling general, them girl they just a bubbling soldier. Use a professional bump and roller, qualified waistline controller. If them girl they a bubbling boss, you a bubbling CEO. Yeah, work 7 days straight feet. All I hope and pray feet. And if them
Yes, I am back. But even before I introduce my guests, I'm just going to talk to Dr. Les Torres. Is she online? Hello? Dr. Les Torres? Hello? Dr. Liz Torres?
Hi, good night, Tony.
Hi, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Great.
Good.
We started a conversation last week, and of course, I listened to some of the events on Wednesday, but I just need you now to summarize for me as to how it went.
The conference went well, both days of the conference. We had 196 people registered. We had 196 actually attended, but we had well over 100 persons signed in on both days of the conference. So we were very pleased with that. We had persons represented from Trinidad, the United States, Dominica, Barbados, and St. Vincent. Again, something that we knew that going virtual would allow us to bring in persons from around the region and even, around the world, the U.S. So we're quite pleased with that. We started off on day one with a session from Senator Belrose, who was our guest speaker. And she took us on a journey through her life to show us how sports had impacted her life and how it had made her resilient. Coming off of that, we had Dr. Aline, who spoke on the psychological impact on COVID, and that is psychological impact of COVID. That is a session that persons found to be very, very appropriate for what we are going through right now. As I said last time, we are all managing and doing what we can to get through our duties. Mm-hmm. However, sometimes we don't take time to take care of ourselves, and the isolation and everything that's associated with the lockdowns that we've had have had an impact on us. So following Mr. Aline's presentation, we had a physical activity break with Albert Reynolds and followed by the Voices from the Field session. So overall, as I said, the sessions, the presentations were very well received. The evaluation that we gave at the end of the conference, persons had some very high remarks for the presentations that we had. So from an organizing committee standpoint, we think it was a success. It was not a perfect conference.
Yeah.
I don't know that any conference is perfect. So there was a few trouble spots along the way, but nothing that had a major adverse impact on the conference itself. And those are things that we can remedy for future conferences.
But what interests me, like I said earlier, was Tyron Marcus from Trinidad and Tobago, and the various scenarios he gave. I mean, that would have gone down well with you. You mentioned 196 persons registered, but during Marcus' presentation, I realized there were at least 87 persons following at that time, and I find that was pretty fair enough.
As I said, on both days, we had over 100 persons signed in. Mm-hmm. It's with the schedule being sent out, persons would sign in for sessions that they find interesting. So persons will not be in for the entire day of the conference. So the numbers would vary at different times of the day.
Yeah.
You had Mr. Marcus's presentation. Like I said, it was a very powerful presentation. It presented information that we really needed to hear, maybe even before the conference. Mm-hmm. He gave us a number of examples of issues that have turned up in the courts with coaches and athletes.
Yeah, coaches, and legal defense, and so on. In some cases. Yeah. On how some of those things had gone on. He talked about the law of negligence and vicarious liability. As I said, he gave examples of some cases and really, really allowed the PE teachers and coaches to see that they have a duty to protect the athletes and persons that are in their charge. He also touched on child protection and safeguarding. A number of our teachers have undergone training in child protection and safeguarding. So that part of the presentation was, I hope for most of them, was a repeat of information that they've already heard. But hearing it come from somebody who is so well-versed in the topic really gave some added importance to it. Oh, yes.
So as I told you last week before the conference, that was one of the presentations that I was really looking forward to. And, he did not disappoint at all. Okay. He had a number of questions from the participants, and that just showed the level of interest he had generated.
Okay. What next for the St. Lucia PE Teachers Association and the Ministry of Education?
Well, school is going to resume here pretty soon, so our focus will be on helping our PE teachers get back into the schools, following the protocols. We did that when school was in session. So now we have to go back and remind our teachers again of the various protocols that they have to follow to ensure that they are safe and their students are safe. In terms of the PE conference, we met yesterday to review this conference and also to plan for next conference. So although it's a year away, we've already started the planning process on that. So really a matter of now of supporting our PE teachers as they head back to school.
Okay. I really want to thank you for your input and, of course, the way you summarized the two-day event. But I just want to say again, we have a partnership. I'll be looking forward to you again at some point. We at UTV will extend an invitation to you anytime. So you feel free. And of course, again, thank you very much for the way you delivered the two-day event virtually. Again, thank you, and of course to all the PE teachers in St. Lucia. I simply hope that they will pick up something out of what transpired and work with it. And of course, we'll see a better improvement in terms of the way we do things in sports in this country, in the school system. Once again, I want to thank you and thank all those who made presentations. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks again for having me. It's been my pleasure, and we welcome. Accept the invitation anytime. And thanks for attending the conference.
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening.
Okay, you too. All right.
Thanks.
That was Dr. Vonetta Les-Flores, just summarizing the two-day PE teacher sports conference held virtually Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. So, that's it with Dr. Vonetta Les-Flores. So I'm moving in now, in-house business. And I have a young, elite sportswoman. She's a Form 5 student of the Leon Hess Comprehensive Secondary School. And of course, a member of Ellis House. She's a former national swimmer and has represented St. Lucia on several occasions, including the OECS and Goodwill Swim Championship. She has swum or represented St. Lucia or the Racers and CJ's Club at a meet in Washington, D.C. at the age of 9, bringing home a bronze medal in the 50-meter breaststroke. She has been playing tennis from the age of 4 and has always been under the watchful eyes of Coach Vernon Lewis. She has represented St. Lucia at home and at the Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago. Last represented St. Lucia at the top 8-year-old Sub-Region 4 Masters Tournament in Trinidad and Tobago in November of 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, she is my second athlete, elite athlete, on UTV program. Please help me welcome Jordan Medrick. Good evening.
Good evening.
And how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm blessed. I mean, watching you play this morning and you here this evening, it's like you can play another 6 matches.
Maybe.
Jordan, I just want to ask you a quick question, and of course, how it all started for you. I mean, tell me, bring us to speed. How it all started for you in terms of tennis?
I started at the age of 4, simply to just be active and to participate in a sport with my cousins.
But what attracted you then to tennis?
I think it was probably seeing my uncle play before and also seeing my cousins play with Coach Vernon Lewis.
And your cousins are?
Maya Eugene and Brandon Eugene.
And both of them played national tennis?
Not national, but they do play tennis.
Do play tennis, okay, all right. So Gary is your uncle?
Yes.
Gary Eugene. Yes, St. Lucia, Gary Eugene, former national player who played with Vernon in his days. And the Hans uncle. So it's in the blood, it'll run in the blood. Tell me, most young ladies your age We'll play netball, volleyball, basketball. What is it that you like about tennis?
I think I like the fact that it's an individual sport, that my mistakes are only my fault and they do not affect anyone else, and also that it gives me confidence.
Okay, but have you played any team sports before?
I've only played a little volleyball with school.
That's at Leon Hess?
Yes.
Okay, and was it at the school level or just in the yard or something?
For PE,
PE?
I would have played for the school, but I was occupied with tennis.
Briefly, give me a little history of you as a tennis player.
I've played in multiple Coca-Cola tournaments, Easter tournaments, domestic tournaments and regional tournaments. I've played in Trinidad, Barbados, St. Lucia, mainly Trinidad.
And how well you've done thus far?
My greatest achievement is reaching the quarterfinals for the singles in under-14s Barbados and the semifinals for doubles in that same tournament.
Has there been an improvement over the years to now?
Yes, definitely.
And is there any area that you believe that you need to work on?
My serves and my transition game.
And what are the strong points?
My backhand and my volleys have improved a lot.
And all that is under the watchful eyes of Coach Vernon?
Yes.
Okay. I have some picks here. I just wanted to have a quick look at some picks there. Yeah. Remember those picks?
No.
Kotek, 2019. That's you there. Jordan Medrick, in fine form. Beautiful. Do you have any ranking at present?
Not that I know of.
But you should have been in at least the first 5 for ladies here currently?
Yes.
Yes, okay. This morning you took on Latoya Murray.
Yes.
How would you describe that match? You won 4-0?
4-love, 4-1.
4-1, yeah.
I believe that I played well, but I made too many errors that I wish I could correct.
Okay. But is it something recurring, or just today it happened?
I think it's been happening for a little while, but I've been working to improve it.
Okay, great. And what do you think about your opponent today, Latoya?
I think she played really well today, especially in the second set. Her game really improved.
We currently in the COVID era, in terms of protocols and social distancing and what have you. In terms of your practice, do you get time now to practice, or is it more difficult for you now?
I've been practicing one-on-one with my coach about 3 days a week for an hour.
And you believe that's sufficient?
I believe so.
Yeah. No. So apart from the tennis, what else that will keep you going?
Nothing really.
But the question I'm going to ask you, as much as I mention it, who is your coach? I've mentioned it, but I'm going to ask the question now.
Coach Vernon Lewis.
And the next question I'm going to ask you. Do you like him and do you like his coaching ability?
Yes, for both of the questions.
Yes, for both of the questions. Do you like his coaching style?
Yes.
And what about it that you like? Explain to me.
I like the fact that I get to hit against him, so I find his coaching style very interactive, and as he's hitting with me, he tells me what I need to work on.
And how long you've been under his wing?
For 12 years.
12 years. 12 long years. This is what you call a coach-athlete relation. And you as that coach and that athlete, you can't go wrong. Yes, there'll be a few hiccups here and there, but for 12 years, under the watchful eyes of an icon, a local tennis icon, Vernon Lewis. Well done. I was told earlier this week by a coach that there is a scholarship for you in the making.
Yes.
You want to bring me up to speed on that?
I applied for Springfield College earlier this year. I was accepted about a month ago, and I was awarded a trustee scholarship.
And how it all happened?
I was introduced to the school through a family friend who told me about the school and interviewed me to see if I would be a good fit for the school.
Okay. And of course, did your coach had any input in terms of encouraging you and
Yes.
your mother?
Both of them wrote letters of recommendation for my application.
Okay. Was that the only offer you had for the USA, or was there any other offers?
That was the main school I was looking at because of their tennis program, their psychology program, and the size of the school.
Interestingly, you mentioned that. What is it that you're really going to do when you get to the college?
I plan to major in psychology.
That's the only thing. Why psychology?
I think I've always had a passion for helping other people. It was brought to my attention, especially when I joined Pear Helpers at my school.
So are you part and parcel of your medical team or your Red Cross team at your school?
No.
No? But you just have a love for the psychology aspect of it?
Yes.
Interesting. You've been away for quite a few times representing St. Lucia. What's it like for you that you're going to be out for a while? What's it like for you?
I think it's going to be a challenge to learn to live on my own, but overall I think it'll be a good experience.
Okay, so you're already starting to psych up
Yes.
the whole... Okay, good. Are you nervous?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you shouldn't. It's just a matter of going out 365 days by 4. You'll see me back here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Any other St. Lucian athlete at that school?
Yes, Michaeli Shalmine. She went up last year.
Yes. Yeah. That's the 2020 Junior Sportsman of the Year. Swimmer. Yes. Beautiful. She's the only one that you know of.
Yes.
But a member of Racers Swim Club and he switched to CJs. What was the transition like moving from one to the next?
There was definitely more of a challenge in the workouts, but I think it challenged me a lot and developed my skills.
But are you aware that when you do get up to Springfield, apart from the education aspect of it, because you will be representing the school or the college or university / at tennis?
Yes.
Are you aware that the workload is going to be double?
Yes.
And you're prepared to go all out and work out and go out on court and make your team or your school proud, and of course your parents?
Yes, I'm ready.
Beautiful. Okay. We will take our second break, but when we come back, we have Jean Medrick, Jonah's mom, to say a few words. I'll be right back with you. So, you will go out and talk to your mom, and then you come back in. She'll go out, talk to your mom, and then she'll come back in. Okay? Yeah.
La vaccine COVID-19 Saint-Lissi, ekse pou moun ki an l'âge 18 l'année et moutan, moun ki ka travay an département santé ki wiskab, dokte, nos, polis, pompier, moun ki ni pisadou, kanser, batman chè, presha, l'oppression, epi moun ki an l'âge 65 l'année et moutan. Ou pani pou paye pou la vaccine, epi yo pa ka oblige ou point. Registration sa fèt online an tout health center ek epi dokte privé. Vacciner pour vous, pour ça ou, et puis pour nous.
Why should you wear a mask? As we know, the coronavirus is spread through droplets. A mask prevents these droplets from spreading from person to person. To wear a mask properly, you need to ensure that it covers your nose, your mouth, and your chin. It needs to fit snugly against your skin so that it does not move while you are talking, like so. As you see, it's covering my nose, under my chin, and my mouth completely, and the mask is not shifting while I am talking. You must also ensure if you're wearing a disposable mask to dispose of it every day, that is to throw it away every day. If you're wearing a cloth mask, you need to use a fresh one every day and to wash it when you get home after the day.
This is a message from the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association.
Hey girl, what's your name? What's your name? Hey,
you're in a good mood.
Girl, if I tell you, I just pre-registered for the COVID vaccine. Hey, but yes.
Supporting you in getting vaccinated is important to us at the Ministry of Health. By selecting one of the options for pre-registering, it helps us to be better prepared and more efficient at managing your demand for vaccination. There are 3 ways to pre-register for your COVID-19 vaccine. 1. Go online by visiting https://hmi.govt.lc/. 2. Contact your closest wellness center. Or 3. Contact your private physician. When we get vaccinated, we don't only protect our health, we are taking action that benefits the health of our entire nation. Vaccinate for you, for yours, for us. A message brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Hello, what's up? It's yours, Shirley Barry App, and when I'm in St. Lucia, the only thing I'm watching is UTV on channel 124.
Beautiful. I like 1, 2, 4. I like that. Yeah, man. Welcome back, St. Lucia, and of course, those listening to us further afield. A short while ago, you heard Jordan Medrick. Now, to my immediate right is her mother, Jean Medrick. Good evening, Jean.
Good evening.
I have known you for so many years, but I have no idea who Jean Medrick is. So quickly, just let me know, or the members of the public have an idea who Jean.
Yeah, I guess my main job is mother. Yeah, I'm also a civil engineer,
okay.
And I dabble in poetry, painting. I do lots of other stuff. But mainly, my main job at the moment is definitely mom, my proudest job for sure.
Okay. You will have heard a bit a while ago, if I were my conversation with Georgia.
Georgia, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she handled herself pretty well, you know. Your daughter will be going out to study. What are the mixed feelings for you, if there's any?
Yeah, definitely mixed feelings. Definitely proud of her that she's worked very hard academically with her tennis. She puts in the work all the time, and very proud of her for that. But obviously, there's always trepidation when you're sending, especially a young person. She's only 16, sending them away to be on their own. I know the college that she's going to is a small college. They don't have a large contingent. It's I think it's like 2,500 undergrads at any time on the campus. So it's not going to be hopefully overwhelming, like it would be going to a huge college, say in Florida or something, with maybe 50 to 60,000 students. So small, intimate, and I think that suits her. So,
your thoughts on Georgia for the last 12 years in sports as an elite athlete, swimming, tennis? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think she's extremely focused in whatever she tries, whatever she does. So her sport for sure has been like a cornerstone for her, and I think it's given her discipline and self-motivation, and I think it's helped her a lot with different life skills in terms of managing time management, and but she has to juggle. She's always had to juggle sport with schooling and everything else that goes along with it. So yeah, she's disciplined. Definitely sports has taught her discipline. She was a national swimmer for quite a number of years. I think she made her first national team at age 8. And she's done quite a number of national teams for, as you were saying earlier, OECS and Goodwill Games. Yeah, and she's traveled all over the Caribbean. The last time she was out was to Guyana.
Yeah.
So she's traveled all over the region with swimming. And then she did both sports from age 4. And I knew it was going to be a struggle at some point to keep her in both. And she made the decision to focus on tennis. So.
I can recall her quite a few years back in swimming. And she's done well. But are you surprised the switch from swimming to tennis?
Not really. As I said, she's played both. I mean, tennis for most of the year of those 12 years was her secondary sport, for sure. It wasn't the one, I mean, she was playing like maybe an hour a week, which if you want to get far in the sport is definitely not enough. But she was keeping up with the other kids. She was winning tournaments, just playing with that type of coaching. I think the cross training at the time was keeping her fit enough to be able to perform well in tennis. So the swimming definitely helped her with her tennis, helped with her foot speed and all of her endurance for sure. So both sports helped each other for sure.
Okay. But tell me, I've seen a number of parents at swimming and of course tennis. Now you see quite a lot at the various football academies and cricket academies. Before it was never that, because I've always said we have all a sports culture, but apparently things starting to change for the better, and I simply hope it's starting to swing. Tell me, how important it is for a parent to be there at an event to support the children?
Well, I think it's very important that you're there on the sidelines to cheer on and to cheer them up. Obviously, sometimes every day is not a winning day. My philosophy of George always in swimming was beat the clock. You know, you have to beat your last time. Don't worry about the next swimmer in the next lane. Just focus on yourself. Again, both individual sports, so it's easy to do that. And I think that helps. And I think all you can be is a cheerleader. And sometimes she would come out of the pool maybe dejected and say, oh, I didn't swim my best, or, you know, I didn't make my time. And I'd always say, well, you know, as long as you put out the effort, that's okay. You'll get it next time. You know, think about the next thing. So be encouraging. My philosophy, however, is to let the coaches coach, not to be a coach. I try to stay away from that. So in swimming, I took up deck officiating, and I think that was a good thing because it meant when you're on the deck, you have to be professional. You can't jump up and down and scream and shout for your kid.
Let's go,
exactly, you can't do that. And a lot of times I would even miss her races because I'd be in another lane cheering on somebody else. So you know, watching somebody else, because you have to watch. Sometimes these kids are going to make you know, new national records and you know, age group records. You can't take your eye off the ball when you're especially in swimming. So yeah, it's to be supportive, let the coaches coach, and have confidence in the coaches for sure.
Interestingly, you mentioned coach, let the coaches coach. Give me your thought on how you think Vernon has influence in her play, on her general mentality.
Yeah, I love Vernon's way of teaching kids. He's extremely patient. He loves to make it fun, especially for when they start out really young. It's not an intensive or it has to be a certain way, and I think he's very good at nurturing young ones and bringing them up to the highest of levels. I mean, he's coached some of our best regional players, St. Lucian players that went on to regionals in recent times, and I just think he's a really good coach. He's really encouraged my daughter over the years.
Yes, somebody mentioned to me, well, I'm aware he's not only a St. Lucian icon, he's also a regional icon. And when you're talking about persons who have made their mark in sports in this country, Vernon Lewis, on my list, is in the first 5.
Oh yeah.
Not first 10, but first 5. And St. Lucia, we have kept him out, and we need to stop that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
But
you know, he's in the Tennis Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
In the UK, he's in the Tennis Hall of
Fame. That
Fame.
is going to be for another show when Vernon comes in here to discuss. But rest assured, in the next few months, there is something coming for him. St. Lucia. Like they have something South Park Connect Guapaso. Wait for it. It's coming, St. Lucia. Wait, we're going to celebrate. I like that. But anyway, come back to you. You know, I like the sense of humor, you know. But it's a serious sense of humor, you know. Wait, it's coming. As a parent, tell me, with a child in 2 sporting disciplines, like tennis and swimming, financial wise, what is it like on the pocket?
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely a sacrifice. I mean, you think of them as individual sports, but you know, some of them, I mean, I know for sure Georgia, well, I know it's even worse when my brother was playing back in the day. I mean, every 3 months is a new pair of shoes. They go through them, you know. If they're playing and they especially when they're taking part in tournaments, they go through shoes. You got to have the clothes, the new rackets. In swimming, it's the racing suits, and you know, then you have all the training fees that go along with those. So yeah, it's not an easy thing to do for sure. But I think for me as a parent, it was about the sacrifice of doing it so that Georgia would get opportunities going forward. And she definitely has that now with going to Springfield for sure.
And you mentioned your brother. I would like St. Lucia to know your brother.
Yeah, so my brother is Gary Eugene. He's a former national tennis player. In fact, himself and Glenn James back in the day won the first ever gold medal, Carifta gold medal for St. Lucia in doubles tennis player back in the day when there was tennis at Carifta Games. So
St. Lucia, you hear a little piece of history. Okay? Gold medal at Carifta, her brother, with Gary Eugene, and of course Glenn James. But let me ask you, what advice do you have for a parent with a child who want to get involved in sports and want that child now to attend university? What advice do you have for that parent?
I would say keep them involved. I know sometimes, well, for me, and what has worked for me is to keep my child involved at all times. So sometimes parents will pull them out of the sport that they love during times when they're going through exam time, so common entrance or any major exam time. And I found with Georgia, yes, we may have slowed down maybe around a couple of days before, after major things, but for her, I think it was the discipline of keeping her in the sport and allowing them to have that relaxation time. Okay. They get so tense when they're going through things like common entrance and CXCs and stuff. I think it's important to keep them, the discipline of it and the routine of it is always good for their health, their mental health.
Great. Jean, your final words, your final comment.
I'm very proud of my daughter, and I just think that to all the parents out there, I know it's hard, and especially with the times we're going through. But yeah, be there for your kids. That's all you can do, and try and give them the best opportunities and let them take the opportunities when they come.
Great. I mean, what can we say better than that? St. Lucia, Jane Medrick, Georgia's mother, I really wanted to say thank you.
Thank you.
For gracing us at UTV with your presence. And of course for sharing with my viewers, my listeners, not only in St. Lucia but further afield. I really want to say thank you. And I wish your daughter all the very best.
Thank you.
Now, and as she departs to go further her education, I will be monitoring. I will be keeping tabs as to what's happening.
Sure.
Again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a break and then we'll come back with Georgia to close off.
Hi, I'm Jim Joseph, president of the Beausejour Community Group. We believe St. Lucia can win the war against the coronavirus, and here's how. Every community in St. Lucia must mobilize, coordinate, monitor and support residents the way we would before, during and after a natural disaster. Identify volunteers in your community, assign them roles and deploy them. Ensure your elderly and vulnerable understand all protocols. Help relatives, shield them from unnecessary contact with others. Identify those recently unemployed and vulnerable neighbors living alone. Put systems in place to filter updates from official sources throughout your community. Promote the hotline number 311. If it takes a village to raise a child, then all of us can come together to defend the village against the coronavirus. Let's do it.
Together let us win this war. St. Lucia be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
Because of how quickly the coronavirus spreads, each new case calls for increased public vigilance. Know what is happening, understand why, and comply. Think of the protocols as war tactics. Personal protection tactics. Keep 6 feet away from others. Avoid riding the bus, gathering on beaches, in bars and shops. Public protection tactics. Quarantine yourself if you feel fluish in case you have been exposed. Call 311 or a respiratory clinic for advice. Country tactics. Partial lockdown. Supermarkets, small grocers, pharmacies and ATMs are accessible before curfew. Total lockdown. Everywhere stays closed 24/7 for a stipulated period. Team tactics. Don't only follow the protocols, be a protocols police. Let's win this.
Together let us win this war. Say we shall be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
Yes, we have made a switch, and of course we have Georgia back in the hot seat. Not hot, but just the hot seat. And of course, just one final question, and then you're going to see a few pics of her. And the question is, I'm going to put 2 pics here. One, Alicia Elliott, and the other, Alyssa Elliott, and the other is, tell me, in these 2 players, on any given day on court, which of these 2 players, which one of them you want to play? And why?
Definitely Alyssa. I feel like when I play her, even if I lose, each time I learn something more about my game and I see something that I can improve. She challenges me in every part of my game. So if I want to win, I definitely have to get better.
Okay, great. Good answer. So I'm going to leave you with a few more pics. Georgia Medrick in action. Of course, here, earlier this year. And that was earlier today. Earlier today at the National Tennis Center, when she took on Latoya Murray. So, here you have it, St. Lucia. One of St. Lucia's elite athletes, Georgia Medrick, who in the summer or on the fall will be heading over to the United States, Springfield, Illinois, to further her education. I want to wish you well.
Thank you.
I want you to remain focused in whatever that you're going out there to achieve. Your mission is to go out there and do your very best. Make your mom, your parents, your family proud. Of course, the schools you've been, which so Leon Health Comprehensive.
Yeah.
Your uncles, Gary, you know, and other members who play the sport. Your 2 associations, swimming and tennis. So persons, the young ones coming up, will emulate what you're doing. Your role model. Keep striving for success and the very best. Again, I want to wish you well. And of course, most importantly, the best of health so you can go on further in whatever that you want to achieve in life.
Thank you.
Well done. So, St. Lucia. St. Lucia, it's my turn as I wrap up. You know, it is not nice further south of us, which is St. Vincent. And based on reports that I received just before coming here, that they are expecting or will be experiencing some more violent eruptions. And that's not sound good at all for the small nation island of St. Vincent and Grenadines and the people. People in Chateau Bel-Air, Sandy Bay, Orange Hill, Fancy, Georgetown, Wallabu. I saw some pics earlier today, and it does not look nice for St. Vincent. We as a nation, St. Lucia, we need to keep our friends, our neighbors next door in our prayers. And I took up a psalm which I just want to say here, because I've been to St. Vincent on several occasions. Run OECS Marathon, played Carnival, used to go down, you know, yeah, St. Vincent was like my second home. And it's taken to see what they're going for now. And I won't be surprised in the coming day that this island declared a country of a nation of disaster. But I want to say this. I will say to the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Psalms 91, verse 2. Let's keep our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent in our prayers. To all those traveling near and far, and all those going out tomorrow to worship, I wish you journeyed mercies. To all presidents of associations, athletes, I wish you all the very best. The all clear is coming. Patience. I want to wish you a very good night rest, St. Lucia. So long. I'm gone. Anthony. Good evening.